Hey, somebody asked me about out-of-body experiences, and yes, I do think that's something that we can do, that we maybe often do. Some people say that they wake up and they feel like they're half in their body, half out, or they wake up and they feel like they're floating, and sometimes people say they wake up and their whole bed is shaking, or maybe even have a really bad headache all of a sudden because maybe their spirit came back in too soon. Some people say they feel that we're attached to our spirit by a silver thread. Now, all I can tell you is, I don't know everything, amazingly enough, but I can tell you that I've had my own experience when I was sleeping. I woke up, or halfway woke up, you might say, and felt like I was kind of floating from waist up, and felt really good. And then I look and I see my son, little boy at the time, walking down the hall with his sheet they used to carry, and it didn't even alarm me. And the next day, my son tells me, Mom, I had the weirdest dream last night. I dreamed I was walking down the hall with my sheet, but I looked and my feet weren't touching the ground. So I think that he was out and I saw him while I was half out. But I think that a lot of times we go out, we are cavorting with spirits that help us, maybe give us knowledge, give us things we need to know, so that we can maybe, better handle whatever lies ahead. So I think that we give up consciousness of that, but we do retain the essence of that. I've actually experienced other people while they were in a coma state. One of the persons probably watching this right now, as a matter of fact, who was out of her body when she was, severely injured. And I've seen other people out of their body when they're have Alzheimer, but again, they're still tethered to their body. And when they're out, they have more knowledge because they don't have blinders on that we have, when we're here in our mundane waking state. But anyway, like I said, some people actually practice, stepping out of their body. And one way you can do that, and I don't know that you should, but one way that you could do that is some people will, imagine in a very calm state themselves, getting bigger until they fill the room, and then they can imagine themselves getting so small that they can walk under a doorway. And you can imagine that you're dropping out of your body. You can imagine you're rising up and see what it feels like to be very light, see what it feels like to be very heavy. But these are ways that you can get maybe a awareness of your astral body or your spirit. And again, not saying you should do that. I'm just saying some people do. It can help you maybe to get, like I said, a better feel of that. But most of your out-of-body travels are going to be unconscious. And, of course, you've all heard of people that were on the operating table or whatever, and they also experienced that too. And I'm sure a lot of it is dreams, a lot of it's illusions, but I really think that there is a whole lot because I've experienced it and had people's other experiences, presented to me in a way that I do believe that that is something we do, and we're doing it unconsciously all the time. And as I said, a lot of people practice so they can do it consciously as well. You have to be careful when you do that, though, because you don't want to interfere on someone else's space. You want to make sure you have permission before you enter anyone's dwelling. You can use stuff like that in a very bad way. You never want to do anything that would be to thwart somebody else's free will or to encroach on somebody else's space. And I think when we're cavorting with other spirits and whatnot, and other people that are, just out of theirs too, when we might, again, exchange information, sometimes we come back to ourselves and we remember it like a dream. Maybe we feel like we've been with somebody, we feel like we've been somewhere, and it's because maybe we have been, just in a whole new level. Anyway, it's just something to think about today's blog.